Hey everybody, Ron Baber here with your tip of the week, and today's topic is don't leave the door open for your competitors. What am I talking about? This comes from a coaching call from one of my longtime clients that just happened last week, and that is we were talking about how they are busier now, and there's a lot of communication going on with the agents and the referral partners in which transactions are going on. And that just makes perfect sense because if you're getting inquiries, whether it's pre-approvals or there's a deal going on, there's going to be interaction, there's going to be engagement. But then we started talking about, or I asked the question, I go, what else could you be doing though to be growing your business or building it for the future? And what came up was, well, I probably should be talking more to some of the other agents that I'm not doing any business with right now. And my response to that is I go, that's not a should, that's a must. Why? Because otherwise you're leaving the door open. If you're doing this, you're leaving the door open for your competitors. And here's what I mean by that. In the absence of consistent communication with referral partners, if there's not business going on, if there's not a transaction going on, we tend to back off on our communication with them, especially if we're busy elsewhere. And what that does is it leaves the door open for a competitor, for someone else to have a conversation with your agent about anything. And the void is that you're not communicating, so you're leaving the door open for that new loan officer to engage in conversation and take that relationship away from you before you even know what happens. And it really is not hard to do because it's as simple as this. Let's say I call on one of your realtors that you've not really been communicating with on a consistent basis. And whatever it is, I use my strategy to get attention, to get that appointment, get that meeting with them. Now, remember, if that agent is not really busy and if for whatever reason they're in a frustrated state, I get that meeting. I do what I do in that meeting where they feel good, they feel like they're heard, they feel like there's engagement, they feel like there's connection. Well, then what happens with your relationship is it starts drifting away. And this is how you get displaced because in the absence of communication, it just means that there's lack of communication between you and that referral partner. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's a lack of communication from somebody else. Communication is the number one complaint that realtors have about loan officers. It's the number one complaint that borrowers have about loan officers. It's the number one complaint that borrowers or buyers or sellers have about realtors. What's the common thread? Communication and salespeople as the problem. Make sure you fill that void. Don't let yourself get displaced by someone who communicates more effectively than you, especially to those of your referral partners or those of your network that you might not be communicating as often as you should be. Hope this helps. We'll see you next week.